Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Axianerve and welcome back to the Minecraft Build Academy. This is episode 2. Last time on the first episode of this series, we did materials, went over materials, why we choose the materials that we choose, and stuff to keep in mind when picking out said materials. Today we're going to go over floor planning and basics of building your sort of structure that you want. To start off, though, we're going to do some floor planning. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't ever do floor planning for small builds. It's not really, I don't know, just don't really care to do it. I don't mind having to, redo a wall or something like that because it's a small build. For big builds, though, when you're using lots of different buildings, it's great to floor plan. But, so yeah, with small builds, I don't really do it that much, but it's up to you. Just go over some basics here when you want to get your structure thought out. We're going to go over the golden rectangle rule. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it's supposed to be the most appealing rectangle, and I believe it's an 8 by 5. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I didn't. Look at me go! Wow, what a great start to this episode, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be it. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So that is the most appealing rectangle, according to God. No, I'm just kidding. Math. Something to do with math. So what it is, though, is you take your smallest side, I think so you multiply it by 1.6 to get your longer side. And that makes it the most appealing rectangle. So keep that in mind when you're floor planning or you're building your, we'll keep this here as reference. Something I want to start off with, though, before we get to our floor planning is just the mindset that I like to use when I think about building in general. Alright, think of this like let me get away from these bats, these jerks. Think of it like writing an essay in your English class. Right, you start off with your brainstorming. Right, that's when we did our materials, and then you move on to the outline, which you're going to do with floor planning and our support structures, and then your rough draft will be your house. And after you finish your roof and stuff, and then your second draft is finishing up details, third draft, fourth draft, so on and so on. So building is just like making an essay in English, right? You do the same steps, that kind of stuff. It's used a lot of times in many other things that you do in your life than besides just English, making an essay or whatever. So that's something to think about when you're building. So right now we're just doing the outline phase, right? So let's go over a bit on where should we start? Let's just make a rectangle, right? Let's make, this is 10 blocks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks by 5. No, wait, 10 blocks by 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, let's just start with this rectangle. What I like to do when thinking about building a little house is what it's gonna look like with a roof. Before you make it, you just try and envision. Right, if we just make this rectangular house, let's say we put our log blocks in the corners, raise it up 4 blocks high, put a little nice triangular roof. What would this look like? Right, it's going to look kind of crappy because we have, it's not a lot of variation in our build. It's just a rectangle, it's one shape, right? We want to make it interesting, so we want to add on other shapes to it so we can keep this rectangle here, right? But let's say let's see how many, this is 10 blocks, right? Let's add on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Let's add on 3 to that. So it'd be 13. go. And then just connect these up. We can take that out. So we just extended it a bit, and now it's just a longer rectangle. Same kind of crappy house design here. Let's count from, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Put a block right there. 1, 2, 3. So it's 4 from the corner. So we have this right here. We can take this out. Couple blocks. Now we have a little sticky outy bit right here. And let's do the same thing on the other side. And we're just adding on some. How long is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. We're just adding on more shapes to our build, right? We're not making it too crazy. We're not making it too plain. So that's something to keep in mind when you make your house or your build or whatever you're floor planning for. Envision it. What is it going to look like with a roof and walls? Does it look plain? Does it look too complex? Does it look difficult? Does it look too easy? All these questions you need to ask yourself, and then you know, fix those problems that you might have with it. Right now, I feel like this is too plain. It's just a cross pattern. You know, what if we extend this block by 2 this way? Then we can take off this. Alright, there we go. Now it looks a little less like a cross, still kind of like a cross, but you know, it's not too simple. Right? We can do something with this. So you don't have to follow this exact floor plan, but just, you know, think about what this build might look like once it's finished. You know, I mean, you don't have to, you know, vision everything exactly. Just maybe what could this building look like? So now that we have, you know, so our vision or our idea what this build might look like, let's start off and make a new floor design. Now what I like to do is just make one wall, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks wide. Take out one in the middle and call that a door. So this is our entrance, right? 7 blocks wide, nice entrance, no biggie. Now what we want to do with this is, let's see, if that's going to be our entrance, we may want to bring this out, bring this back a bit. No, let's add on a couple blocks right here. It seems a little too short, so let's add on a few more. Alright, and now what we're thinking about is where our wall might go, or our roof. How is this going to look? So if we, for instance, just say we'll have, you know, oak pillar right there, and our wall's gonna go right here. You know, where is our window gonna go? Let's say it goes right there. That'll be a window, right? And then another wall piece. And let's say this is another oak pillar, you know, keeping the same kind of distance apart and sort of symmetrical a bit. So we know, okay, that looks kind of good, right? I have a window right there, no problem. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Oh, come on there, buddy. There you go. So now, kind of looking around at it. Cool, cool. And let's say, I think it will look good adding on a bit over here to the right-hand side, right? You know, doing this stuff, it takes a little bit of practice to kind of see what might work right or what might feel right. I think, you know, to me, it'll look kind of cool just staring to see. Here's the entrance, and you can over to the right-hand side. There's some more of the house, some more windows and stuff like that. I think that looks pretty cool. Entirely up to you, though. Maybe you want to go to the left side, or maybe you just want to keep it straight, or go both sides. It's, you know, completely up to you. Just think about where your wall's gonna go. So let's add another 3 blocks right here. Maybe that'll be another window. And we can keep this same kind of pattern going of a log block, wall, window, wall, log pillar. You know, that kind of stuff. All right, let's keep going a bit. Boom. All right, so we have another window right there. I think that looks kind of cool. Now, you can keep going if you'd like, or you can stop. Entirely up to you. I think this looks kind of good. Just 2 windows right there, not too long and not too short. So when you're at the entrance, you can still see it off to to the side of the screen a bit. But you know, if you're a little far away, it's not looking like it's super, super long. Kind of, you know, how does it feel? How does it make you feel? So let's call this, you know, another triangular roof, right? So this entrance is going to be a triangular roof, 3 blocks. Let's add on a 4th to all of these. Since 3 blocks is a good height for a build, so 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then ceiling will be like right there. So we have 4 blocks right here. Let's go up, make a triangular roof. See how that looks. So that's cool. Let's do the same thing over here. Now the reason we're doing over here and not right here is because I want it that way. I'm joking. It adds a different kind of roofing to the house. If we have a triangular roof right here and another one right here, right next to it, where the roof's going the same way, it becomes more difficult to work around. Not necessarily complex, but complex in its difficulty to make it look right. So we're gonna do one right here going this way, just to add some variation to our roof here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks right here. Once again, just like that side. Then we'll add another pillar, like so, and another triangular roof. There we go. Now let's go to this side, and we want to kind of keep, you know, our same kind of wall design going, like that, and then like this. Now we're at this point where we have our roof right here and a roof right there. And what do we do for this side? Do we want to have another triangular roof over here that'll intersect, or sort of not necessarily intersect with intersect intersect with this wall, or this roof, sorry, or do we want to keep this flat? You know, keep this going all the way around here, and then have another triangular roof on this side, and then this just kind of ends right here when it meets up to this one. So, you know, it's a little bit difficult to figure out what you might want to do, but let's see if we keep this wall flat, right? Now we come to a bit of a problem. As you can see, this is gonna be right here, this little pillar. Well, this pillar right here on this wall is gonna be right here. If we continue this, it's not gonna meet up the same as this side will, right? So we can go down like that, and that's what happens. Kinda not cool. So let's see, how can we fix this? What if we take this down and make this same distance as that one? And now we have this kind of look going on. Don't know if it's kind of weird to describe this, but you kind of got to work around a bit. This is the whole point of outlining your build, is to find these problems that might arise before you start building your walls. So like that, we had to change our wall up right here to fit with this side instead of keeping it the same as this. Now for this right here, we can do one of two things, right? We can either keep this flat, like just straight across, and then straight across right here, and have our triangular roof right there. But it's not going to quite work, because we gotta have one of these is going to have to be a triangular roof, right, to fit with this, because this is going to come straight across like that. This is going to come straight across and hit that. So look really weird, just, you know, this L shape with this weird roof. It's not triangular on this side. I don't know if that's kind of confusing to you guys. So our roofs kind of go kind of like that, right? Kind of weird. Instead of being a triangle like these other two sides. So let's take this off and let's figure out what side we want to fix this. Let's say we take our same wall design, add some walls onto this side. Alright, and then we'll add a little triangular roof right here. Let's see how that looks. Okay, it fixes our problem. Alright, we can continue that down like that. And add some more variation, right? This side is longer than this side, so it's not the same. The only problem is our back side looks a little weird. But we can fix that by having another triangular roof right here if we want. We can see how this looks. Alright. So it's kind of an L shape with a bit right here. So I don't know what kind of shape that will be. Kind of like a weird squished up cross. But I'm gonna take that off, by the way. That's the whole point of planning our builds out, to find fixes to our design. Of course, you don't have to follow the same stuff. It's not why I'm making this tutorial for. It's so you can build your own frame to follow your own way. So I mean, we can do tons of different stuff. It's just hard to describe how to come up with some of these designs. Right? Just play with different shapes. Start with a rectangle. Add on another rectangle to it from a different angle. You know, maybe add on some more walls onto it, and then start building up some supports and putting placeholders for where your windows will go, and figure out what looks best to you. You know, what seems best looking, or what would be, you know, if you don't like things being too difficult, you know, what seems the easiest to do that still looks kind of good. So keep those things in mind, and also where you're going to put your roofs at, what the roofs are going to look like, so we can figure all this stuff out before you start building and running into these problems and getting frustrated because you're not sure how to proceed. Now, don't quite have much time left on this video. Jesus, bats, God, to start on walls, but we can take this off and then kind of skip ahead a tiny bit and go over some detail work. A good thing to add detail to your builds is to recess your walls by 1 block. This adds both depth and detail to your builds, and is a lot easier to work around than just having a flat wall. Here we go, kind of like that. It looks pretty detailed. You know, you can add on some stairs down here and a wall pillar right there and a stair up there, and it opens so many more possibilities for adding detail to your build than just having a flat wall. So if we keep that in mind, let's recess all of our walls. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. Whatever works best. You know, experimenting is one of the keys to building. There we go. And as you can see, as we keep recessing our walls, our interior is significantly smaller. So that's another thing to think about when you're building your walls and how big you want your walls or your roofs to be. Is how big of an interior are you looking at, right? We first started off having a pretty big interior room to work with, and now if we recess our walls, we lose a lot of space. So those things are stuff, you know, to keep in mind. Of course, we don't have to recess our walls. We can put some blocks like that, maybe, and we can keep some of the space and only recess maybe the entrances or the triangular roof sides, if that makes sense. I hit a bat. Oh no. So now we kind of look like that, and that adds quite a bit more space to work with. So that's always a not necessarily a main focus when you're building your walls, but it's sort of a secondary focus. You keep an eye on your interior space, so you can make sure you're not hurting yourself in the future after you get your entire exterior finished, just to find out that your interior space is like that much. Woo! Just enough room to stand in. So that's about it for floor planning and outlining your build. Once again, or not really once again, I just want to add though, by no means trying to make myself come off as an expert in this stuff. I do not try to be an expert. There are tons and tons of more builders and architects in Minecraft that are way better than I am, and just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not saying these are the end all be all of Minecraft design. There's tons of other things that you can do. This is just what I feel will be the easiest steps to follow when making a house if you're a first time builder or whatever. So that's it for me today. If you enjoyed the video, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, share. Everything helps immensely. I really want to see this series take off, and you guys are the only ones that can really help me with that. So make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you next time when we focus on walls and wall design, window design, and placing windows and all that good stuff. That'll be lots of fun. So I will see you guys then, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.